رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. And this is the dua of Musa alayhi salam. Wherever we are going to explain something, this is a great dua to help us, inshallah. And that's why many of the scholars actually start their talks with that dua. So I wanted to touch on that one. Today we're going to talk about al-Anbiya, Surah al-Anbiya, which means the prophets, and Surah al-Haj, the pilgrimage. And Surah al-Anbiya basically was revealed again towards the end of the Makki period. And Surah al-Hajj, the scholars differ about the opinion as to when it was really revealed. But just reading the ayat, one could notice that a part is revealed in Mecca, and also a great chunk of it, another part is revealed in Medina. And we'll talk about it why. Now, these two surahs, they actually are a wake-up call to the community at large. So the first ayah, and I'll relate the Arabic first, of Surah al-Anbiya starts with اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. The time of accountability or reckoning is coming near, and these individuals are turning away from it heedless in heedlessness. So it's talking about this hisabuhum, that this time is coming for them to give up their give accountability. And then the other ayah that starts with the Hajj, it also has this wake-up call to individuals. It says, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ. O humanity, beware of your Lord. Indeed, the coming of the quake, the final quake, or the earthquake of the Day of Judgment before that is a great thing. So it's warning, one is warning about, and al-Anbiya is talking about many of the prophets. Musa alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Lut alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam, it talks about Yunus alayhi salam, it talks about all these great prophets that came. And one of the stories of one of the great prophets, and Ibrahim alayhi salam is talked about here, is because the Meccans are direct descendant of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So they're reminded about their forefather. He used to be such a great person. He used to worship Allah, one Lord. But how about you, the people of Mecca? So they're reminded, and the story is an irony, because it talks about how Ibrahim, their forefather, he actually goes to people, and he talks about on a day of festival where he goes inside their temple when the city or the people, the inhabitants are away. He smashes all these idols, and he leaves the X, or he leaves the X on top of the great idol, the big one. And when they come back and they said, who did this? And they said, we have heard a person named Ibrahim, a youth who has done it perhaps. Bring him in. So they bring Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then they ask him as to who has done this. So he says, well, ask the big one. This is your Lord. So they say, well, they do not talk. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, now he's logically arguing with them, reasoning with them. Then why do you worship them? Those who can't talk, can't help you, and are not going to avail you, why do you worship them? And this is showing them tawheed, that what you're doing is just passing time and not recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After doing that, they say, we're going to throw you in the fire, as we know. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects him from fire, and the fire becomes cool for Ibrahim alayhi salam. In this story, there's a great lesson for the Meccans who are listening to the Quran, that look, what these guys did with Ibrahim alayhi salam, if you try to harm Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, same result, because Allah is behind the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And they had seen so many proofs of this. Now also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after talking about all these prophets, He says, إِنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونَ. All these ummah, all these nations are a single nation, and I am your Lord, so worship me. Meaning all the prophets are related. And the last one that he talks about, when he talks about the Prophet ﷺ, it's a beautiful ayah at the end of Surah al-Anbiya in regards to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about all these prophets. Then he says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. A beautiful ayah describing the Prophet ﷺ, that we have not sent you except, meaning the only reason why we have sent you, as a mercy to the world. So in it, there's great lesson for us. The other surah, inshallah, that I want to talk about is Surah al-Haj. And it does talk about many of the rituals of Hajj, sacrifice of the animals, and how we should reflect awe and honor for anything that is related to religion, sha'air Allah, especially to God. And then he says, after mentioning about the sacrifice and everything else, he says, but be careful. لَن يَنَالُ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. And this is the essence of this religion, that neither the meat that you sacrifice nor the blood reaches God. It's not that what God is desiring. But the essence of this ritual is that it is the taqwa from your heart that reaches God. It is your fear of God. It is your love of God. It is your relationship with God. It is your showing honor and showing respect and showing that you are a slave of God. This is what reaches to God. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear. And the last thing that I want to talk about, actually two things, is that in this surah, Surah al-Hajj, the Madani part of it gives permission to believers to fight back for those who have been wronged. And it is one of the first verses that is revealed after the whole Meccan period, where the Muslims are not supposed to retaliate. There is no jihad in Meccan period. And then one ayah, ayah number 73. Note it down in Surah al-Hajj. One ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroys the basic foundation of shirk. And I will leave it to that. I want you to study that, go back and look at the Quran. Juz 17, Surah al-Hajj, ayah number 73. In one ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed the whole concept of shirk.